Okay, so we're in our chapter 5 quiz review today. And like I was just saying, it's going to be a little bit more heavier on the review on this one, just because our systems take quite a while to solve. So if I only had systems of equations on this test, it would be a very short test. Okay, so we're going to pull more from chapter 4. And even on the quiz, you're going to have chapter 4 questions, okay? So this PowerPoint tells us everything we need to know for the quiz. Your first section is going to be solving systems by graphing, all right? So you'll see that these equations are pretty much ready to go for graphing, right? Okay, so we're actually going to work on our desk today. Yeah, we're going to work on our desk. So we'll get those expo markers out, and I want you guys to set up your graph and see if you can come up with a solution to the system. Okay, so I got both lines. Whoops, I didn't mean to put it all up there at once. Oh, well, it's still up there. Okay, so I plotted both lines. My first equation, I went down to a -3. Yeah, actually, I will back it up. Okay, so my first equation, my first point was down to -3. And then where do I go from there? Where do I go from there? From a -3 on the first one. Up 2 over 1. There's my first line. Then on my second line, where does my first point go? Up 2. And then up 1 over 1. And mine crossed at 5, 7. Wow, awesome. Yours was the same. Is that a 5, 7? Yeah. Looks good, guys. Looks good. When I did it on the desk, I got 4, 7, so I was pretty close. And again, if you're like one off, that's fine. That's fine. All right, so that's graphing. Now let's do substitution. Okay, so remember with substitution, I'm looking for x or y to be solved for. Okay, then I take that and I plug it in for x or y on the other equation, solving by substitution. Okay, substitution. All right. Which one has x or y solved for?
Both of them.
Both of them. Okay, so what happens is you just take the -3x minus 7, plug it in for y on the other one. Okay, so y equals -3x minus 7, so plug it in for y on the other one. All right, and we get, or either way, x plus 9, you could plug it in up here, I guess is what I did for y. Either way, you're just plugging in for y, and now they're equal to each other, okay? See how I did that? Have variables on both sides of the equation. Anybody know what to do next? What do I do next? Isabel? Okay, so I look at my x's. Which one is smaller in value? -3. Okay, because that one's negative. So I add 3x to the left side. I'm bringing my x's to the left side of the equation. So if I bring my x's to the left side of the equation, what am I going to do with my number and my 9?
You're going to bring it down.
It's going to go to the other side. It's going to go to the right side. If I'm getting my x's to the left. If I'm moving my x's to the left side of the equation, everything else has to go to the other side. So that's why I subtract 9 to the right side, okay? So I move my x's to the left side. X plus 3x is 4x. I move my numbers to the right side. -7 minus 9 is -16. Okay? So now I divide both sides by 4, and x is -4. Okay? Now, how would I find y? How would I find y? Yes, plug it back in for x. I would do the second one. That one's pretty easy. Y equals, now plug in -4 for x. Y equals -4 plus 9. What's -4 plus 9?
5.
Y equals 5. So -4, 5 is my answer. All right. Okay, so you might want to go back and maybe rewatch this one, just this one. Okay, if you got graphing, you could, maybe not spend as much time on that one. Elimination, I'm looking for opposites. I'm also looking for my x's and y's to be lined up on the same side of the equation. All right, so go ahead and work through this problem, elimination. This is good because I see immediately that I do have opposites here. So you'll have some where it's already opposite from the beginning. Then you'll have some where you have to basically do a step. That'll be the next problem. Well, here I had opposites, which means that I added them. So 2x plus 2x is 4x equals 40. Divide both sides by 4, x equals 10. Now that I know that x equals 10, what do I do to find y?
Plug in 10 on the
Yeah, plug in 10 back for x. 2 times 10 is 20, plus 5y. Subtract 20 and divide by 5. 10, 8. 10, 8. Okay. All right, how do we do on that one? You have 2 questions like that on your quiz on Monday. All right, and your test. Okay, so now let's do the special ones, okay? So the special ones could be one solution. It could be no solution, or it can be infinite solution. So everything is on the table. You can use any method you want. All right, we may have an answer, we may not. We're not going to know until we start solving. So looking at this system, you think graphing is the method? No. What do you think? Isabel?
If you're doing a certain method and you multiply, do you have to multiply everything?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I see that the x's and y's are lined up, right? So my attention is drawn to elimination. All right, because remember substitution, I have to have x or y solved for. Well, I'm nowhere close to that. But do I have a true opposite here?
Yes.
No, I don't have any opposites. 3 and 9 and 2 and 6. However, could I multiply one of the equations by a number? Man, some of you guys are killing it. You're already almost done. Okay, so decide which equation needs to be multiplied and by what number. Okay, let's go ahead and start working on this. I'll pause and give you guys time to start working on it. Okay, so if I multiplied my first equation by 3, does that make it the opposite of positive 9x? No, it makes it the same exact. So in order to make it the opposite sign, I can multiply it by negative 3. Negative 9x plus 6y equals negative 3. So before we started this problem, Isabel asked, she said, well, whatever I'm multiplying by, do I have to multiply by everything inside parentheses? The answer is yes, absolutely, you do. Okay, so don't just multiply that first term, multiply them all. Now bring over the bottom equation, 9x minus 6y equals 3. So now, mission accomplished. I need to get my x's to cancel so I can solve for my y's. So my x's cancel. Well, what do you get when you get 6y minus 6y? Those cancel too. That's not supposed to happen. And then what's negative 3 plus 3? So 0 equals 0. Infinite. Infinite solutions. Okay? Infinite solutions. That's pretty much just over half of your quiz on Monday. Now we've got a modeling real life question. The one on your quiz is very similar to this. Okay? It says a bouquet of lilies and tulips has 12 flowers. Lilies cost $3 each and tulips cost $2 each. The whole bouquet costs $32. Give me a system to find how many lilies and tulips are in the bouquet. I just want to give you a minute and see if anybody can start to come up with it before I tell you. I will give you a hint that this is similar to the turkey burger example from your notes. Okay?
So
All right, so let's see who can come up with the two equations, and then we'll.
Y equals mx plus b.
Yeah, no, not quite. No. But you are going to have an X and a Y. Remember, X was like your turkey burgers, and Y was your veggie burgers.
X plus y equals.
Okay, yes.
I don't understand the rest.
Okay, so here's what she just said. She said lilies is going to be my X, and tulips is going to be my Y, just because that's like the order. Yes, very good. Yep. What's it going to equal? X plus Y, lilies plus tulips equals how many total? 12. Okay. Now come up with your second equation. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Use the other information now.
Oh, no, it'd be 3y plus 2y equals. Sorry.
You're close, but it's not 3Y, it's 3. What stands for lilies?
3x.
Yes.
Oh.
3X plus how much per tulip? Plus 2Y equals how much money total?
Whoa.
Nope.
32.
32. Okay.
Didn't be x, y.
All right. So now you can use substitution or elimination. You can use either one. All right. Which one do you want to do? It doesn't matter. You can do substitution or elimination. What do you guys think? Would you do elimination? If I'm doing elimination, I would multiply the first equation by something to maybe make my x's opposite. What would I multiply by to make my x's opposite each other? -3. Okay, so now I would have -3x. But you got to multiply the whole thing. -3y equals -36. Now bring over your other one. +3x plus 2y equals 32. Okay? So now you can add the systems together. Your x's cancel. -1y equals -4. Divide by -1. Y equals 4. Y equals 4. But that means something. Remember, there's a label there for what? For tulips. Okay? So, if I know that there's 4 tulips,
There's 8 lilies.
that means there's 8 lilies because there were 12 flowers total. Okay, can you do it? It's a different example, or I'm sorry, it's a different topic on Monday, but it's the exact same setup. Okay, it's the exact same setup. X plus Y equals my total, then how much per each one equals my total amount that I spent. Okay, all right, let's review our chapter 4 now. Write on your desk. That sounds kind of weird on the video. You might have to explain what I mean to your parents if they write on your desk. What is she telling you? Okay, so write down, what is the formula for slope intercept? What is the formula for slope intercept? Yes. There's your start. Yep. All right, guys, say it with me. Y equals mx plus b. All right, so when Miss Johnson asks you that, like the first week of school next year, are you going to remember? We spent like 3 months talking about it. You better remember. Okay. All right, so now I need you to find the slope and y-intercept of this equation. Is it ready for you to say, oh, well, my slope is -3 because that's the number connected to x? No, you got to get it in slope-intercept form. Then you can say, this is my slope, this is my y-intercept. All right, go ahead and do that. Get this equation in slope-intercept form and then tell me, What's the slope and what's the y-intercept?
Add 3x.
Yep, add 3x to the other side. Add 3x. 2y equals 3x plus 10. Now what do I do across the whole thing? Divide by 2, 2, 2. Y equals 3 over 2x plus 5. Now what is my m? 3 over 2. And what is my b? 5. Okay, so that's 2 questions on your quiz. Can you guys get that? All right, so now let's write the equation. This was on your homework last night. Write the equation of the line that passes through those 2 points. Write the equation of the line that passes through those 2 points. Define slope first. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's going to be negative 2 over negative 4. But that's positive 1/2. I reduce it, and I know I'm dividing negative and a negative. 2 negatives is a positive. So y equals positive 1/2 x. Do the ordered pairs tell me the y-intercept?
Yes. Negative 4.
Minus 4. Minus 4. Did anybody get that right? Anybody get that right? Okay, so now on this next one, I want you to write the equation in point slope form. So don't solve it, okay? Write the equation in point slope form. Yes, you are right on that, Mickey. Okay? Did you already do it?
Yeah.
Good job. Okay, so we have y minus y1, which is 5, equals m times x minus x1. This is all I have to do. All right, who got that right? Okay, Mickey, question? No, that's it. That's all I have to do. Okay, all right, one more question. This one looks almost the exact same as the one we just solved for, except now I have to solve it all the way. Write the equation now in slope-intercept form of the line that passes through this point. So if that point had a 0 for x, then I'd be good to go, but it doesn't. Okay? So you do have to use point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And then you have to solve it all the way. How do I know that? It says slope-intercept form. Right? So basically, 3 steps here. Y minus y1 equals m, which is negative 3, times x minus x1. Okay? Now I'm going to distribute y minus 5 equals negative 3x plus 9. One more step, guys. One more step. What is it? Add 5 on both sides. Okay? So now I have it in y equals mx plus b. All right, you see how m is negative 3 here in the equation? Well, it told me that in the very beginning of the problem, that m was negative 3. I did all the rest of that work to figure out b, because nothing in the original information told me that b was going to be positive 14. All right, if you understand that, that's everything you need to know for your quiz on Monday.